It's Dumb Guy Live, everybody.
We're
Episode
back.
31. We're back after a week absence, I guess. We had our little Joshi draft last week. By the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the Joshi draft. We had fun doing it. Even with Takumi Aroha in like the second round was kind of weird. But yeah, we're back. We're going to be talking Forbidden Door. We're going to be talking Stardom. We're going to be talking All Japan. We're going to be talking Noah. We're going to be talking lots of different stuff around the world of Japanese professional wrestling. But in the meantime, I'm sure you guys can see I'm in like a different location. I'm in Chicago right now. I'm going to Dynamite tomorrow, which I'm excited about. And I've got, all right, Murph. Murph, everybody is insane, and he doesn't know when to like stop. I don't know if you guys have heard, he's not a fan of CM Punk right now. I'm not sure if you guys are aware. He's a bit of a polarizing character right now. That punker. So that's kind of what's going on. But Murph, how are you doing today?
Living the dream. Doing great.
Okay. Anyway, Jamie, how are you doing today?
Going to Toronto this weekend, so I'm just trying to get through the week and let's ride.
Nice.
Fairs.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Good to be back live. Back live as your Dumb Guy Live Joshi draft winner. So the people voted and I won. So that's another feather in my cap. And yeah, it's good to be back live. I missed it last week. You know, I was watching along, seeing the live reactions to our draft. But
it's got shit on the draft. It wasn't good. I got shit on.
You did a bad job. You did a bad job on the draft, and that's okay. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Shall we get started with the show, everybody? The big stuff coming up this weekend. The sequel to the biggest USA Japan co-produced show in history. Murph and I were at the original Forbidden Door, the debut Forbidden Door last year at the United Center. This year, Murph, you're going back again, correct?
I am, yes.
Which is very exciting. It'll be in Toronto this year, and it has literally maybe the best double main event in like wrestling history already announced for it, with the sequel to Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship, and then the dream match, arguably the greatest wrestlers of Japan and the United States respectively of the 21st century, Kazuchika Okada taking on Bryan Danielson. I can still hardly believe, we have a little bit of insight, us three, into goings on in various places. And so we kind of knew that these things were going to happen, but even just saying that out loud, I don't know, I'm sure you guys feel the same way. It feels pretty unreal that both of those matches are going to happen on the same show. Not to mention all the other stuff that's already been announced, plus all the stuff that's been teased on TV and everything. I mean, it somehow, it's genuinely looking like a better, just like at face value, a better card than last year, which was like the show of the year. So just at the top, I know you and I, all three of us, obviously love Japanese wrestling. I think all of us are big AEW fans, right? And so to get that connection, to finally get Japanese pro wrestling in a major audience exposed to in the United States is just a dream come true. And the fact that we're getting it yearly at this point is just so exciting. Murph, I want to start with you since you're going. Anything? I mean, obviously the two main things are going to stand out. I mean, anything else that you're particularly excited for, or maybe things you want to see them return to from last year, or anything like that?
I'm a little surprised MJF's on the card. That came as a surprise to me, just from, everything, like just what his viewpoint is. But I'm excited. That's going to be an interesting dynamic with like the biggest heel and then like the biggest babyface, which I think is going to be really interesting. I'm really hoping that I'm pretty sure we're going to get like a Sting Derby with like Hiromu and Shingo again. That was like my favorite part of last year, honestly, was like the dudes with attitudes. So I'd love if that happened again. And I'd also say I'm really hoping that we get the Hung Bucks in like a 6-man tag, because I feel like a Hung Bucks versus, I don't know, Cobb and Catch 22, or like Bishamon in someone like Bishamon Ishii. I just really hope we get a Hung Bucks tag, because last year was ELP in the Bucks, which I loved, but I do want to see Hangman in the Bucks. I just want to hear "Carry On My Wayward Son" at the show. So any way that can happen, I'll be very happy.
Jamie, what stands out for you just looking at, aside from we know the double main event's going to be incredible, what else are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I think just obviously with the way the cards shaped up so far, when you look at like these kind of crossover pay-per-view events, particularly in Japan and stuff with New Japan, it's a lot of times very multi-man heavy. So far, we've had 4 matches announced and 4 pretty big singles encounters. So I think from that, it's looking very promising. They've advertised it so far as being one of the biggest shows in history for both companies. And I think when you talk about those double main events, you can see why. I really like the Sonada match. I don't know, there was a lot of like
I didn't even I
there's a
forgot
lot
about
of
it.
uproar when that happened. It was like because Sonada's like a slightly divisive figure, and not everyone's super sold on him. And obviously Jungle Boy getting the IWGP.
That's such a Murph match. I can't believe I forgot it. That's like 2 of my favorite wrestlers, like legitimately. And
yeah, I think it's
and I hate like saying like, oh, I love this because it makes people annoyed, but that match makes like the right people so mad, and I love it so much. So I'm so excited for that one.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, you look at what they could have done with Sonada. And, there's people that will joke, be like, oh, well, who do you want to see Sonada face? I think they've picked the perfect kind of option.
Oh yeah,
because you have to go with someone who can take a loss, but obviously someone who feels at least elevated enough to where like you can't just pick a complete shitter to face the IWGP World Champion. Right. So obviously you've got one of the pillars of the company, but it's kind of big match catalog. He always kind of delivers on that big stage, so I think it's the perfect choice.
All right, guys, let's go through this. We're going to go bottom to top, or top to bottom, I should say, as always, with these shows. What do we think is going to main event? Have they announced officially that?
I think it's like heavily like speculated that it's Kenny and Will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. Look,
yeah, I think PW Insider said that's the expected main event.
So let's kick off with that one. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. Omega's the current champion. It's the rematch of their Tokyo Dome Classic from this year. I mean, these are 2 wrestlers who a lot of people would argue are like the 2 best, if we're just talking about like in-ring wrestlers, right? Maybe like ever, right?
Honestly, at this point.
So I mean seriously, and you could argue. I mean, I would, for my eyes, Omega is the wrestler of the year so far. When you combine his 6-man work with his single stuff and everything in between, I think he's been incredible. And when he's going up against Will Ospreay, who more than anybody is the guy who you can count on to get an incredible match out of anything, right? Not only that, they've already had the Classic from early this year. It's a different dynamic because, it's a different dynamic because not only is Omega the champion, it's in North America, right?
In Canada.
There's going to be full cheering. It's not like the Tokyo Dome where there was only like less than 10,000 that could actually cheer in there in sort of limited capacity.
I don't think Kenny's ever had a big match in Canada like this. Like this is like
it's in Canada, right? It matches up with Omega's background and everything like that. I just think
the third match would be in London. So I mean, that'd be awesome. So honestly, that's a great. I'd love that. That's just gonna be awesome. Hell of an atmosphere.
But just everything coming into it makes it seem like a recipe, like even more so than the first one. This has to be like, seriously, if it's not one of the greatest matches like of all time, it's going to be considered like a bit of a disappointment. But I'm curious what you guys think about because I think everybody knows, at least if you're on, you see wrestling the same way we do, we know it's going to be great, right? I'm curious what you guys think they're going to do with the result. Omega has really not done all that much with the title since winning it, right? He hasn't gone back to Japan since winning it, and it is the U.S. title, I guess. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think the result is here? I'm curious what you think.
I think Kenny wins. And then he loses the belt to Will in London. But I think Kenny Omega wins But here's the thing that went through my head. Last year, Moxley won, and the show ended with an AEW guy on top. I wouldn't be surprised if Ospreay won to maybe balance it out a little bit from last year. I don't know. It's a hard one. I would say Omega win, but I love both guys and both got it. So I'm not gonna. I just hope it's not a draw. That would be so annoying. Like I don't love draws and pay-per-views.
Yeah, it's tough. I think I'm leaning slightly more towards Will. I think it's kind of for a few different reasons. One, like you said, Parker, Omega's not done a ton with the title, so New Japan are probably wanting to, have it back on a few of the bigger shows. Also, I think there could be Takeshita involvement. There's been a lot of speculation, obviously. Maybe Takeshita and Don Callis could be lining up with United Empire. There's been a few teasers in that direction, and obviously Takeshita and Omega is definitely a match we're building to anyway. So it would make sense for that to kind of happen. And I'm more just like, overall, it puts them on, one win a piece. And I think, like Murph said, I can definitely see that match, the decider happening in Wembley. And I'd love that because obviously I'm going to be there. So if I can see that match happen, the big one.
Yeah.
Then that'd be perfect.
I'm so jealous of you guys. You get to go to these shows, man.
Yeah. But so I'm thinking Ospreay for this one.
My thought, I'm leaning Ospreay as well. My one bit that gives me pause is just it's in Canada.
Yeah.
And like it's gonna be really tough to
in AEW is like AEW usually has the hometown person win.
Yeah, they don't like screwing the fans. However, the one thing is, because they're obviously building this Takeshita story, and this is going to be, one of their top 2 or 3 storylines for the rest of this year, probably, is you got to keep that going somehow. You got to keep that momentum going. And if Takeshita gets involved in some way, or Callis or whoever gets involved in some way, it feels like that's a natural extension of this story, especially if they cost him this IWGP US, title. That would kind of suck though. Like I just hate interference in wrestling. Like it ruins it for me. And it was why I think Omega did a really good job as world champion, but I don't think a lot of people would argue that it was the all-time great run that it maybe could have been as world champion, because there was so much like interference and like BS that sort of came into his matches. Obviously he's on the other side of it now, but still I'm just like so over it. So I hope they stay away from it. I hope it's just a match and just happens to be one of the great matches.
There would be the only way like interference I'd be okay with it is if Ibushi came out. That'd just be unbelievable.
If Ibushi comes out and like makes the save or something, that'd be pretty great.
That's something that at this point I've been waiting a long time for it to happen. And so I really Kota Ibushi is like one of my favorites ever. So the Golden Lovers coming back in Canada with me there, like that couldn't get any better than that for me.
So I'm gonna say Ospreay. I'm gonna say Ospreay for this one. But it's not really about the winner for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's mostly just about seeing these two like masters of their craft get a chance to take each other on and build on what has already been maybe the best match of the year so far. Yeah. We're gonna move on to Okada versus Danielson. In the meantime, we have a $5 super chat from bruh. Would y'all go final countdown for Dragon now, or wait till All In? What do you guys think? Final countdown?
I say no.
For Bryan Danielson?
I would say no, because I feel like once you introduce that music, it's just like it opens a door. I feel like that music's never going to be played in AEW personally. That's what I'd say. And if it's any time in the stadium, but I just don't see the need for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't like lose any sleep if we don't get it. I feel like it definitely could happen at least at one of these huge shows at some point though. But I'll say no on this occasion. But I think it's coming at some point.
I definitely feel like it's going to happen at some point. The thing is, I love Flight of the Valkyries, and even the like silly
so good.
Yeah, even the like kind of silly remix of it, like I kind of like it. So it's like fine by me. It'd be one thing if it was just like some generic theme, you know what I mean? But what he has right now is already so striking that it's not the end of the world. But I agree with you, Jamie. I think we will get final countdown at some point. And it'd be cool. It's just like what they did it with MJF that one time. They did it with Punk that one time. They do it, Ospreay did it at the Dome this year, right? He came out to elevate it, right? So, which by the way is like one of my favorite themes ever. I wish that was a permanent theme. So, all right. We also have I
just remembered when Tanahashi came out with Marty Friedman. Do you remember when Tanahashi had Marty?
When was
Friedman?
that? I don't recall that off the top of my head.
Dome. It was at the Dome when they faced Nakamura for the Intercontinental, but that was the main event.
2016, 2015, something
That's
like that.
14.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I love when people do it. It's just stuff like it's just very much like we put thought into this and we weren't just going through the motions. I love stuff like that. Okay, we also have a $4.99 super chat from the custodian BPJ. Shout out to the dumb guys. Parker, wanted to let you know that I got accepted to the school. Appreciate the help, man. Keep up the good work, all three of you.
Custodian school.
I may have helped Brian Pillman Jr. get into janitor school with a couple. He had to write an essay. It was like 25 words. It was just sort of answering a simple question. But no, in all seriousness, I'm so glad that you got into the school. That makes me very happy. And congratulations to one of our strongest soldiers, custodian BPJ. You'll get that push one of these days, bro. It's coming. It's coming. You're gonna join Bullet Club Gold or some shit like that. Okay, let's move on and let's talk a little bit more about this Okada Danielson. All right. Holy shit, you guys, we're getting Kazuchika Okada versus Brian. First of all, just think about where we had to go through to get here, right? Just when New Japan finally starts getting some cachet internationally after the really tough, 10, 15-year stretch that they had, right? Danielson is signed to WWE, right? Danielson is Daniel Bryan. He's not going to be pushed, right? He's just a mid-carder to them. He gets over as organically as you possibly can. The Yes Movement becomes a thing. He eventually main events WrestleMania, wins the title in the main event of WrestleMania. Or no, it wasn't the main event that year, was it? I can't remember.
It was.
Okay, I couldn't remember if there was if the Taker match was the main event that year. But regardless,
that was the match before the main event. It was 2.
Got you. So yeah, he wins the title in the main event of Mania, right? He's a main eventer for a while. He gets hurt though. He's in and out, right? And then he has to retire due to injuries,
concussions.
Then 3 years later, he comes back and he's cleared and he wrestles and he's just
he could have never left. He could have been a lifer. He could have have a Hall of Fame induction.
He reinvents himself. You remember he had that incredible heel Fickle, right? It was such a great character, complete reinvention from anything he had ever done in WWE to that point. And then he's just there helping people out, trying to get people over. He main events WrestleMania,
but he's a crackhead
in a 3-way because
I'm going to go to AEW.
Well, the thing, he main events WrestleMania because he's so undeniable that this shitty build to this shitty Roman Edge match sucked. And they're like, oh my God, we have to make this good somehow. Throw the best wrestler in American history in there, right? And then 5 months later, he's in AEW. that was it for him.
He was teaming with. He went from main eventing WrestleMania to teaming with Luchasaurus in about 4 months.
And then he's just been incredible. Blackpool Combat Club, of course, the debut against Omega with the 30-minute draw. He's just like a master. I said that earlier, but he is a master.
3 title shots, all over 4.75.
Yeah, he has the best Iron Man match of all time, and a match that I don't know that anybody thought that MJF could ever have a match
the best
that good.
Hour draw, right? Arguably of all time.
Right, the best hour. Oh, I would say so. Yeah, well, that's not true. I would probably say
Omega. I would say Omega.
Okada, Omega, yeah. But that's like picking nits. Oh, you're worse than one of the 10 best matches ever, right? So I just wanted to set the stage of establishing to everybody, and I know everybody here is a big Danielson fan, but just how remarkable it is that we're here. And not only that, Okada at the same time is building himself. He does the shock. People aren't convinced. He gets outvoted to be in the main event of the Tokyo Dome, right? Yeah. But then he builds himself up. He gets this incredible monster 2-year reign as heavyweight champ, and then it's Okada, right? Yeah. He had balloon segment. If you ever want to get engagement on Twitter, just be like, Balloon Okada was so crazy. And people love that shit. But yeah, and then Okada,
it's like the girl in the grocery store with the bag of chips in her head, and
it's so crazy. I'm so crazy. Doing one of those. And now we never thought Okada was going to be wrestling American talent regularly, right? Like that never crossed our minds until AEW came around, and then we had all this Forbidden Door stuff, right?
Last year
That's
he
how
was
we
in
got.
four-way. Now he's
Well, that's
facing
well even
Bryan
before
Danielson.
that, even before that, it was like Kenta, right? That's how we got the name of the pay-per-view, and all this build up. It's like, how far are they going to go? Because there was this resentment because the Elite left New Japan, right? And New Japan is loyal to who they're partners with. And finally, in 2023, just in a special singles match, they are not champions. This is not for anything. This is just like New Japan and AEW being like, see, we can do this. We can give the fans what they want. Kazuchika Okada versus Bryan Danielson in Toronto in what is going to be one of the most anticipated matches in wrestling history. Talk to me about your excitement, guys. Talk about this. I know I just kind of waffled for 5 minutes.
I wasn't going to go to Forbidden Door.
Not?
I didn't. We decided we were going to go on a beach vacation instead this weekend. But then this match was announced. And I said, Mom, my brother, my whole family, we got to go. We got to go. It didn't go like that, but it just makes it sound good. But this match, the best part about this match is we don't know who's going to win. Danielson could win this.
It's like, so wide open. Like
this was a title match. You would think, okay, Okada's going to win. It's going to be a hell of a match. Okada wins. But this is Okada and Danielson special singles with Danielson in the hottest feud in AEW, and Okada currently is a 6-man tag guy. Danielson could win this match. Okada could win this match. This match is going to be unbelievable. And if it's not unbelievable, like similar to the main event, if this match isn't 5 stars, it's a disappointment. It's like a crazy thing to say, but this match has to be good. Like not good, amazing. So this match, all I'll say is just this is a great time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, you look at you can complain about Punk and like the bullshit going on in WWE, but why we're wrestling fans? To watch matches like this. This is why we watch wrestling.
Yes,
for Okada and Danielson.
We don't come here and talk about Japanese professional wrestling for 90 minutes every week because it's just like a thing we feel obligated to do. Like you know how when you listen to like Observer Radio, sometimes Brian is like completely checked out of whatever he's recapping. He's like, this sucks, right?
Yeah.
We are like, we're super fans, right? And it's just like I'm not going to believe it until I actually see them standing across from each other in the ring, right? I don't know how to. There's nothing to compare it to. Like it'd be like there's nothing to compare it to. Like Danielson's better than Bret Hart, right? Like Okada is better than like Misawa, in my opinion. So like there's nothing to compare it to. I don't know. It's just great. Jamie, talk to me.
Yeah, man, it's surreal. I think you did like a perfect job of kind of setting the stage of like the kind of crazy lengths we went through to get here with all the WWE stuff. Like you just said as well with the comparisons you make to like the legends of old. I think you can make a real strong case here that this is the best American wrestler versus the best Japanese wrestler ever. There's obviously a few names that crop up into that conversation, but I think there's a real strong case for both men. I think Danielson's position as the best in America is pretty locked in for me, at least anyway.
Right.
And then just in terms of like where both guys are right now, they're both kind of like occupying not similar positions in terms of the card, because obviously, like you said, Okada's kind of in this kind of 6-man tag position, whereas Danielson's in the hottest feud in the company. Well, in terms of like the kind of attitude and the way they're wrestling at the moment, both guys feel like really like sick of everyone's shit veterans. Like
they've got
like
an edge
real
to
dickhead,
them.
real dickhead mode, right? Danielson's obviously calling everyone amateurs and stuff, and you've got Okada beating the piss out of all these young guys, and it's just like really spiteful veterans who want to prove that they're still like the best in the world. So you stick these two against each other, I think you're going to get something really, really special. Like Murph said, I'd be stunned, as is with the Omega Ospreay match, if this isn't like one of the best matches I've ever seen. I think someone would have to like really go wrong. And it's Danielson versus Okada. Like, what
we
more
didn't
can
have
you
that
say?
last year. That's the difference between last
we
year's
didn't have we didn't have that one
No.
blow away like match of the year.
No, it was a
contender
lot
match.
of good matches. Like
It was a
just
lot of
card
great matches.
full
Like
of
everything
a
on
card
the
full of 4+ star matches, but we didn't have that match that just stood out. I mean, Ospreay and Cassidy end up being that like match of the night to me, like the best match on the show. And you had like the 6-mans and stuff, but
we
didn't
had Claudio and you had main event and all that, but there was nothing that was like whoa, like I need to go
right now. We have
this,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 singles matches on the docket, and that's just the start. We still have like a whole card. No, last year was a special thing because it was in the United Center, and it was just like the start of like we thought it was like a first thing. But this card is exponentially better. It's like not even close. So that's why I'm excited for this show, because this is what last year could have been, but now this year is like the culmination of that. Lack of injuries, better build, So that's why I think this card is so special.
So with that, who do we think is going to win this match? It's weird because you think, to me, the first thing that comes to my head is the company that doesn't win, Omega Ospreay, will win this match. But I just feel like Okada makes more sense to win. He's heading into the G1, right? They always give people big wins before the G1. Danielson isn't in the G1, obviously. And I would say Okada occupies that rarefied air, whereas Danielson is completely fine losing. He's already had a world title shot this year. But I don't know. I'm going to say Okada just because it makes more sense to me, but I wouldn't be shocked either way. Jamie, what do you think?
Yeah. I was about to make pretty much the exact same points. Like I mentioned before, I'm leaning towards Ospreay in the match that we think is the main event. But I'm also leaning towards Okada. And like you said, the only real doubt in my mind is like thinking politically, are New Japan going to win both of the huge like main event caliber matches? I think just as well though, everything we kind of know about Danielson and the way he kind of like has like presents himself, and
right.
I think if Tony Khan came up to him backstage and was like, "Oh, you going over tonight?" I think he'd be like, "Really?" So, I think he'd. I almost kind of think he'd want to lose to Okada. But either way, like with the position both guys are in the company, like you guys said before, it makes it wide open in that sense. So I think it's a really tough one to call, but I think I'm going to lean with Okada.
Murph?
Coin. The coin drop. The Rainmaker will rise.
I thought you were going to say it's a coin flip.
No, I was doing like the Okada coin drop. Okada is going to win this. It'd be cool if Danielson won, but it's Kazuchi Okada. What are we doing here? It'd be like a shock. But like the best part about this is we all expect Okada to win. But if Danielson wins, it'll be an insane shock moment. So that's why it's kind of a win-win as a wrestling fan for the result.
I'm so stoked for it. I mean, this is, like we've said, the two matches, legitimately probably the best two matches ahead of a card in history. I worry that I'm cutting out.
You're good.
Which okay, that concerns me. But anyway, I'm on that Chicago Wi-Fi. So all right, let's we got a $5 super chat here from Jack Grealish. Oh my god, Parker, that hat is well nice, mate. You need to bring that to Ibiza. Time to feed the turkey. Also, why is Rossi being such a? I can't say that on YouTube with AEW. I don't really have an answer to that. I feel like it's not that real, and people on Twitter make it really real.
I agree.
I have to say, big Grealish fan. He's only like 3 months older than me. We're like the same age. We're bros. So
you're like
so
my
maybe
least favorite footballer.
We'll have a.
Hope you enjoyed that.
We'll have a cheeky pint at some point. But yeah, I'm curious what we should talk about that for a little bit. Jamie, what do you think about
real quick, Jack? Why did you
full
keep on.
Okay, all right, it's good. Full disclosure, I have been a little bit checked out of wrestling for the last week and a half or so. I've been busy doing life stuff all over the place. I was in Phoenix, Arizona for a week. But I did catch some wrestling today to recap for you guys. But so I haven't been privy to this whole conversation. Also, getting suspended from Twitter doesn't help things. So Jamie, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on can you sort of like lay out the situation for me and or like what people have reported, and then give me some analysis too?
Yeah, so of course, with these Forbidden Door pay-per-views, and obviously AEW and New Japan, obviously New Japan owned by Bushiroad. Bushiroad also own World Wondering Stardom, biggest Joshi promotion in Japan right now, super hot. So obviously this year and last year, people were speculating would Stardom be involved, and obviously there was a Fightful Select report not too long ago that said there were discussions held and stuff. But then you check Stardom's their calendar with the pay-per-views, and they also have a pay-per-view booked for June 25th, this Sunday, which is obviously Forbidden Door Day. So obviously, and by all accounts, they have every talent booked, even like Kyrie and stuff, like part-timers and stuff. So there's no chance. The only real New Japan women's involvement I think we would have got would have been Mercedes, who's injured. So with all the discourse, it's kind of been like, oh, does Rossi kind of not like AEW? Is he not? The discussion seems to be like Rossi doesn't want to work with AEW, and I don't think that's totally the case. They've had this show booked for a long time, like Parker's gone. So this has been like on the books.
Taking over.
this has been on the books for a long time, so it's not a case of like AEW.
I think people are just like trying to make it an issue for but it's just not like. I like people are saying like, oh, Rossi said in an Emmy Soccer interview from 3 years ago that he doesn't really care about AEW, and like that applies now. No, it doesn't. It's just like I don't think AEW really cared that much, and I don't think Rossi cares that much. So I think people are just trying to make an issue out of nothing. Would it be cool if Stardom was on the show? Yes, but it's gonna happen eventually. I mean, what's it called? Didn't Stardom want like Chris Statlander for the Tokyo Dome or something like that? I remember.
Yeah, it's definitely something that'll happen along the line. I think it's just kind of a case of everything has to like be perfect. And
the stars will align at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking before about like these kind of inter-promotional shows, and there's a lot of politics that goes on, especially in terms of like putting the cards together. This could be a case because of how stacked these shows are. You may only get one or two women's matches on the card, and then you've got to think like if Stardom are sending over a big talent, what's in it for them in terms of like, are they sending someone over to take a loss, or is it it's a more difficult thing than booking like an entire card from New Japan's perspective and having a lot of different wins and losses. So it's a more difficult thing to go through. So I don't think it's this kind of like crazy heated. Rossi doesn't, but he's spiteful, doesn't want to work with AEW, and I think both sides definitely will work with each other. It's just won't be happening this year, but maybe next year.
I obviously was out for part of that, but did you bring up the idea that like Stardom is in a really good like financial place right now, probably, and doesn't really
no, but that's a great point.
Yeah, that was sort of one of my big thoughts too, and it's not one that I've seen brought up a lot, is that Stardom has had this massive meteoric rise in popularity since the pandemic, which should have had the opposite effect, right? And they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're probably extremely profitable right now in terms of all the pay-per-view revenue they're bringing in.
Yeah.
So my guess, part of me, and I could be completely off base here, is just the idea that they're in a great spot, and if you it's a risk to focus on overseas stuff, because that means you can't run local shows, and you might not be able to develop your local stories that you want to do for your pay-per-view that's coming in at most 3 weeks from now, right? So I think that could be part of it too. As a fan, I would love to see it. I would love to see Stardom get as much US presence as possible, because I'm such a fan of all the wrestlers. I'm a believer in the talent. I'm a believer in the company, and I'm a believer in a lot of American talent too, and would love to see them get that shot. Up until the injury, Willow versus Mercedes, fantastic. You know, Stephanie Vaquer, someone like that getting
Yeah.
a big shot. And even like Momo Kogo versus Willow was great, considering you know, the quality of how Momo Kogo's presented, right? So that was a really good question, Jack Grealish, and I appreciate you asking that. I think it's fun to talk about that type of stuff, because in wrestling there's all these dynamics that go on. There's so much going on in terms of, you want to keep your stories, do you want to burn matches, do you want to do all that? So yeah, I guess we can leave it at this, and maybe you talked about this. I fully expect Stardom to be involved with AEW at some point.
I agree.
I wouldn't be like floored if it never happened, but I'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think it just makes too much sense, at least at some point in the future. There's a lot of big matches to be made there, and I as a Stardom fan, like like Parker said, I wanted to happen. I think it'd be really exciting to see. Obviously, would boost Stardom's like kind of international reach. I know that's not their kind of main priority, and that's probably part of why they're not like start jumping over every kind of hurdle to make it happen. It's just not their main focus. But I think we will get there.
All right, y'all. Let's move on to the other stuff that has been announced. Also, can y'all let me know in the chat if my current Wi-Fi situation or the previous one before I disconnected was better? I just want to make sure I'm giving you guys the best show possible. All right. So we have, this will probably, well, see, here's the thing. It's so weird because we have those 2 Incredible Dream matches, right? And then we just so happen to have 2 World Championship matches for the 2 promotions, right? Let's start on the New Japan side. Sonata will defend the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against, like we talked about earlier, the Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, which is a super out of left field matchup. Jungle Boy's never done anything with Japan in general, let alone New Japan, right? But I'm stoked about it. Like he's a guy you can throw in there. I think you brought it up earlier, Jamie. Every time Jungle Boy is in like a big match, he always delivers. Like he's consistently one of the best parts of pay-per-views. Like I think about the Luchasaurus Steel Cage match from late last year, I think it was, right? The MJF match from the start of the pandemic that a lot of people were a little cool on going in. That match ended up being great. I think Jungle Boy always does a great job in these situations. So I'm stoked about this one too. Obviously, there's literally zero chance of a title change here, but I'm just really looking forward to seeing how this match ends up. I'm also looking forward to seeing like Sonata's reception in the States. It's been a long time, I guess, since Evil,
no one's gonna be louder than me.
What's that? No one's gonna be louder than you. Well, I'm just thinking, like, aside from Evil, I can't remember the last time there was an IWGP heavyweight champion, and of course Evil never got a chance to wrestle in the States, who wasn't like one of their locked in top guys, somebody who's had a lot of US experience. You know what I mean? So I'm curious to see what
Ibushi never
reaction
like
will
wrestled
be
too
like.
much in the US. But like
Ibushi?
he did, but like he never wrestled too much in the US. Like
yeah, but I mean, like, it was Ibushi, right? It was the
Yeah,
Golden
it's
Lovers. They did the Golden Lovers tag, right? That and they wrestled a ton in the States with those. They had the Bucks match and the Okada Ishii match both in the States too. So even that was more so. Like Sonata has done like nothing in the States. Weirdly enough, he was a former RevPro British heavyweight champion, but he has not done anything in the States.
Dude, what are you talking about? He wrestled for TNA.
Yeah, let's not forget the great Sonata and his
He wrestled for TNA for like 2 years.
How could I forget everybody? My bad.
I was a big TNA guy. I used to go to the TNA shows when they came.
Of course, all the British people are freaks about TNA because it was the only thing on TV or something. They
used to
like
come here a lot. I used to go to all the TV tapings.
TNA would go to would fill out like 12,000 seat venues in the UK. It was like their biggest.
Remember like a 19-year-old Mandrews being on TNA?
Yeah,
they're back. Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster, they're in TNA.
They're a great team. I wanted
They're really good.
They're a good team.
Yeah, they should win. Did you see that? See, I kind of like Impact now because I only watch their big shows. Their top, like their world champ is Alex Shelley, and their X Division champ is Chris Sabin, and I'm like, that's so cute. They probably planned that.
But their promotion.
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, no more TNA talk. How dare you guys? Sonata did nothing.
I forgot
Sonata
that's what
was
it was.
nothing.
James Storm, Sonata, and who else was in the group?
Douglas Williams.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm just naming people. Magnus.
Oh my God! Look at this group.
Shannon Moore.
James Storm, Sonata, Manic, who is TJP.
Oh yeah, Manic.
Abyss, Koya.
What? Who?
And his name Mahabali Shera, I think his name was.
Oh, I remember
really?
Mahabali Shera.
And then Serena
Okay.
Deeb.
Who? What were they cooking?
You
Come on,
gotta
y'all.
love TNA. You gotta
That's
love
crackhead
TNA.
booking.
Stupid. Sonata. Anyway.
Serena Deeb.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, I'm glad we can move on from that. That does not count, in my opinion. Any Japanese wrestler. Remember they had, what was her name? Ayako Hamada? Was she in TNA? Yeah. Ayako Hamada. Now she lives in Mexico, I think.
She's been living in Mexico for like 20 years.
Yeah, she was banned because no, that was something else. I'm mixing up her and Io Shirai, but she also is banned from Japan now for like meth or something. I'm not really sure.
Some drug.
Please don't sue me, Ayako Hamada. I'm sorry for slandering your good name.
The drug Japanese wrestlers doing drugs is an issue even to today. You know, recent.
It's just what like you go to Mexico, you're gonna take drugs. You know what I mean? That's just part of the deal.
Love you, Kento.
So yeah, exactly. Okay, so anyway, I think we are all more excited for this match than I would say like the average New Japan or AEW fan is. But Sonata's just knocked it out of the park as world champ. He had that great match. He had a great match against Hiromu. He had a really interesting match against Tsuji that I think that he played his part perfectly.
Just 5 guys, just rules. It's a great
and it's a great stable. Oh man, I would love like Tai Chi with somebody like that. That could be a lot of fun. And we were talking about that, right? Like
Kanemaru sounded like a career renaissance. It's insane.
Yeah, Tai Chi should get on this show. If they're gonna bring Sonata, they should get Tai Chi on this show. Okay, all right. Let's move on to the other World Championship match. This one has a million different ways they could go with it. It's going to be MJF defending the AEW World Title against Hiroshi Tanahashi. Who wants to dive in? Let's talk about it.
I'll go first. Yeah, it's a super interesting one. Obviously, as Murph alluded to a little earlier in the show, we weren't super sure if MJF was going to be on this card. The match has been announced, but MJF is playing it off like he's not doing it.
Right.
I've seen a few interesting fantasy bookings that he might actually not do it, and a certain fella from Chicago might do it instead.
That sounds like gotta be honest, y'all. That kind of sounds like it. And I'd be fine with it. I'd be like, that's it. I'm gonna mute. I might like have to kick Murph, but yeah, I kind of want it to.
Yeah, I mean, like it was the match we were meant to have last year.
I'd love that because that means I could just have a time to go to the bathroom. You know, I could just go to the bathroom. You know,
for Tanahashi.
Come on, man. I know you don't like Punk, but surely Tanahashi like balances it out for you a little bit.
It's better than the Punk alternative match, which legitimately would be like the worst match ever. Punk and Kenta.
Really quickly, we do have a couple super chats I want to get to. I've gotten bad about forgetting them. $1.99 from Mavs fan 84 would pop TK for Tana to beat MJF. Awesome. Won't happen though. Yeah, it's not happening, y'all. It'd be cool though. It'd be a cool moment to actually put some drama into something like that. But MJF is not the guy they're going to do it with. If it was going to be, and probably Tanahashi's not going to be the guy they do it with. They would do it with they do it with Okada. If they were going to ever do that. And then we also have a $4.99 super chat. We'll get back to Tanahashi MJF in a bit. This is inscrutable to me. Whatever the name is, $4.99. Thank you so much, FT. Murph, what are your thoughts on the USA Mexico game? We got thrashed by y'all. Shout out Peso Pluma though.
What a game! What a match! What a match! Viva the United States! Let's go, baby. Christian Pulisic, what a goal! What a player! Balogun, what a player! And Peso Pluma is very good, but USA baby.
Yeah, Peso Pluma. He's so popular right now. He's like the most listened to artist on Spotify right now.
He's really good. His music's really good.
Like, could you imagine?
This is the first time I've heard of Peso Pluma.
Like, seriously, go to like Spotify Global Top 50. I'm pretty sure he has the number like 1 and like
he did a song with Pizza Rap,
top 10.
and like that blew up.
Yeah,
but
I will check it out after the podcast.
Yeah, check it out. Unfortunately, Monty got mad at us when we played music last time, but we still listen to it. I hope you guys know we still listen to
I wish we still did the
Barry before every show. Yeah,
last.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
I love Mexico. Okay. Yeah, MJF versus Tanahashi. Murph, what are you thinking about this one?
Every MJF match has such a low ceiling, such a low floor, and such a high ceiling. That's really the thing I'd say is every MJF match could either be like the worst shit ever or like a classic. And I feel like just because it's Tanahashi, it's probably gonna be a classic. But you know, I'm always apprehensive with MJF matches because you never know what you're gonna get. For example, like MJF versus Adam Cole last week was awesome. But you know, there was a point where it looked like it wasn't going to be awesome because, you know, so, I think it's going to be very good. I think it's not going to be like in the top, like not going to be given the time we hope it gets. Cause it's not, even though it's an AEW World Championship match, it's like the 4th most important match on the show, I'd say. So, I think it's going to be really great, but, I always have to be a little apprehensive with MJF matches because you just never know like how they structure it and you know how it could be. So I don't know how to describe it perfectly, but like am I kind of making sense here?
He just wrestles differently than every other main event wrestler in like the world, pretty much, right? And he's so like he has complete creative control over what he does, and he's so of a singular mind on some things that it's just what can it do. But I also like. I have, assuming we get the match, and I actually that's the biggest question to me. Assuming we get the match, I think it's going to be like great. It's Tanahashi, and MJF is always like MJF's whole deal now is that he doesn't wrestle on TV except he did last week, and because of that, when he wrestles on pay-per-view, it's like appointment viewing, must see TV, great stuff, right? Both of his world title matches this year on pay-per-view have been out of this world good, right? So I'm looking forward to I'm really looking forward to this match. It's Tanahashi, right? I might be in the minority here. I thought Tanahashi versus Moxley was the best match on last year's Forbidden Door.
It's a hot take.
Yeah, but I just loved it. Like I was like, oh my god, and the crowd, like I don't think you guys, well, not you guys, but maybe just sort of the grander you.
Remember when the fight broke out in the stands during that match?
Yeah, that was wild. I just don't think like the people remember that the crowd turned on Jon Moxley.
It was Go Ace. Everyone wanted the Ace.
They wanted a title change, and obviously it's a lot easier to turn to boo someone like MJF than it is Jon Moxley. Yeah. So the dynamic should be great here.
Real quick question though. What's Mox doing on the show?
What is Mon Joxley doing on the show? I don't know. Really quickly, we have $1.90 super chat. We'll return to that thought. Hold that thought. Same guy, FT. Does MJF actually hate New Japan, or is it a gimmick? He actually hates New Japan. It's not a gimmick. He actually hates New Japan. He doesn't want to be on the show, but he's going to do it because TK wants him to. I didn't mean to click that. Yeah. So that's your little peek behind the curtain, everybody. All right. Yeah, he doesn't like New Japan. He thinks it's bad. Okay. Moxley on this show. What could he be doing? Where's Claudio? Where's Eddie Kingston?
There's a lot of big, because obviously we've only got 4 matches now. There's a lot of big names that aren't don't have like super plans to kind of jump out immediately. Obviously we have the Zack Sabre Jr. Orange Cassidy, which seems like a lot to be happening.
And, yeah, that'll happen.
Is that double title or just for the?
It should be double title, right? One would think. Yeah. People like that. The rest of the BCC, the other elite guys, not including Kenny. There's a lot of big names, and then obviously like you've got your, kind of LIJ.
I bet we get 2 6-mans, like the Hung Bucks versus someone, and then Mox, Claudio, and Yuta versus someone. Here's my Kingston. Kingston, I don't know. I mean, he just came back last week.
And you got to have Shooter, right? You got to do something with.
Yeah, where's Shooter? That was my question.
It's got to be like it's got to be the 6-man team, and then they're up against like Naito and Titan and Bushi
Everyone's
or something
saying
like that.
Lucha
Like,
Blog thinks that Naito's
Yeah.
going to team with Andrade.
yeah, which would be incredible. I'm gonna on that. I know Lucha Blog's pretty Cubs fans pretty tuned in to Lucha stuff. I'll believe it when I see it. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
It's just like bro, it's
Like,
literally
just doesn't
breaking
add
like a half century of tradition to do something like that.
I've always
So-
said, like, people are always like, oh, they left AAA, so now they can work. No, the problem's never been AAA wrestlers. It's been they want CMLL wrestlers.
yeah,
They don't
yeah.
care if you work with AAA or not. It's they want the only Mexican guys to be with New Japan wrestlers are AAA wrestlers. I mean, sorry, CMLL wrestlers. So I mean, like, what's it called? Bandito and Rush saying like, oh, we've left AAA. That doesn't do shit for the New Japan thing. They actually have to show up in Arena Mexico and like for it to be like work. So, but if Andrade is on the show, that would be pretty damn cool. I'd love that a lot.
I would love that. I mean, I know you and I were huge Rouge fans.
Rush just had a kid, so I don't think Rush will be there. So
he's like tweeting, but it's also Rouge. But like,
what's it called? Cubs said that he has a visa problem right now.
I'm so tired of visas. Just let them work. Let them cook.
If they're doing
Jamie, what do you got to say?
If they're doing how it seems like it's going to be if this is happening, right, with all the kind of AAA CMLL politics stuff. If we do get kind of LIJ and Andrade versus House of Black, presumably in this trios match, obviously we've mentioned kind of like Hiromu and Shingo might kind of be involved with
Sting,
Sting and Darby, so it could takes them out of the equation a bit. Then you've got Naito. I would say send Suji. Don't send Bushi.
Yeah.
Please send Suji instead.
No Bushi. No Bushi.
The quality
the
of
worst
that
of
match,
the Super Juniors.
Here's my question though. If you do the LIJ thing, please keep the lights on. I can't do this shit. I can't watch these fucking matches in pitch black with like white lights on them. I can't do it. Leave the fucking lights on, please. Leave the lights on.
This is a little bit of changing the subject, but Suji, I want to say, I can't remember. Like I said, I've been checked out a little bit. I can't remember if it's happened yet or not, but he was scheduled. Yeah, I guess it happened a couple days ago. He teamed with Hiromu in a tag match main event against Sonata and Doki. Were you guys able to watch that at all?
Yeah, I watched the Yuji Nagata show. So he was in an 8-man in that show.
Okay. Well, I just know the night before on New Japan World, they were in a main event together. I need to go back and see. Like, I'm like chomping at the bit for all this for any and all Suji content. And then the following night there was the Yuji Nagata produce show.
He was great in that 8-man.
Awesome. I again haven't watched the match, but this match is just like so much.
You need to watch the main from that show.
Oh yeah, I will. Nagata,
really
Tanahashi, Kojima, and Wado against Kento, the Yumas, and the Aoyagis. Right? It's just like
the Yumas.
it's so good. It's so good. We'll talk about All Japan a little bit later, but obviously, practically no chance of a title change here as well. The only interesting thing is, like, I like that Punk idea. I really do. I'm really into it. I'd be so happy.
Look at Murph's face. Sick of this shit.
Murph thinks he wouldn't like it, but he'd be really happy that he was there for that moment.
I would not like it. Dude, I'm not going to Collision. I could if I loved Punk that much, I would have gone to Collision. But as along with the 9,000 people that didn't go that are going to only Forbidden Door, the Collision's just kind of mid.
So another match that the most locked in match that hasn't actually been officially announced yet is Zack Sabre Jr., New Japan Television Champion, versus Orange Cassidy, AEW International Champion, assuming title versus title here. This is a match of two guys who were not the supposed to be the most important people on the show last year. They were supposed to be, but they both had different circumstances that led to them being in the matches that they ended up being, and they ended up elevating their matches to being absolutely stellar matches. Sabre originally was supposed to get that Danielson match, right? And he ended up not getting it, but then you bring in Claudio, and Sabre does everything he needs to do to get Claudio over. And then Cassidy, it's not everybody who can live up to the standard of being the guy who faces Will Ospreay.
It's supposed to be Andrade.
Right, it was supposed to be Andrade, and then Cassidy came out, and that was, I would say, most people, the most common
my best match on the
choice.
show.
Yeah, the most common choice for match of the night was the Cassidy Ospreay match, and so this feels a little bit like a reward to me, and a deserved one for these two to get a singles match that showcases them. It's going to be such a fun dynamic. I mean, Sabre, who is like, he's like half no nonsense, like built up, technical guy, but he's also half like, he likes to like, grind it in and be sort of heelish with people. And obviously Orange Cassidy is his unique singular self. Especially if it's a TV title match with a 15-minute time limit, like we could get OC versus Pac vibes here, right? With how fast they're going on this. I'm stoked for this one too.
Yeah, I think it could be really, really fun. It'd be really interesting to see how it works with obviously both guys champions. Is it going to be for both belts? And I think if it is, right? Yeah, I would say so. And I think if it is, obviously, with the New Japan TV title in play, that you'd presume it to have that 15-minute time limit. I think they could push it. I think that could be where it goes. I think it could be a draw. I don't see either company putting both the titles on one of these guys. But yeah, it's like Paul mentioned before with Zack Sabre Jr. like grinds people out, and then obviously you got Cassidy, who the story they're kind of telling at the moment, he's fucking worn out, man. he's not. He's
like 24 successful defenses.
He's had an unbelievable title reign.
Clinging on,
unbelievable.
Clinging on. He's clinging on by the skin of his teeth. So putting him in there with with Zack, who's gonna like really, really like grind him down for the whole duration of that time. I think you could get a really, really fun match here. So, but in terms of predictions, I'm going to go with a draw, providing that it is the double title that we think it's going to be.
I'm going to say we get a title change here. Zack Sabre Jr. becomes the double champ.
That would, if somebody becomes champion, it feels like Sabre being the international champ makes sense. Like that's a good wrestler to have as your international champion, even if it's just for a brief reign. Sabre's been doing a lot in the States. He obviously showed up on Ring of Honor. Looks like we're going to get that Joe match at some point too. So we'll see what happens with all that. Okay.
And taking the title into the G1. I love when a guy has a title for the G1. So having Sabre be the AEW international champion in the G1 would be pretty sweet. And
you mentioned
Christian Cage / Luchasaurus or whatever being the TNT champion. TNT championship's probably going to be in a more elevated light now. So I think it's going to be good.
You mentioning that bringing a championship into the G1 made me think of another reason why Ospreay might win that U.S. title, right? They always love the G1 to set up those title defenses later on in the year and then into Wrestle Kingdom season. Okay. I don't want to get super in depth into anything else here because there's a lot that's just kind of still up in the air. It's looking like we might get.
I have a question. What do you think the women's match is?
I don't know.
I think it's Willow defending against someone.
Yeah. I would tend to agree. They don't like
Athena. Well, Athena's a champion. I'm thinking of like who there is. You could do like Deeb.
I think Deeb's MIA.
Then I don't know. Stephanie Vaquer, I don't know.
Do Willow? Yeah. Willow. I would. If Tony wasn't champion, it'd be Tony, but Tony's champion.
A lot of people in the chat think we might get that anyway.
But I don't think. I do Willow Athena for both belts. That's what I do on Saturday.
You could do Ruby. You could do a double title match, Willow and Athena. That would actually probably be really good. And it's not like Willow is easily on the level of Athena at this point, if not higher up. I know some people really like Athena right now, but Willow has she's had this great rise. I'll say Willow versus Ruby. That'll be mine. It's not the sexiest match, but it's something.
It sounds like a safe bet. It makes storyline sense, and it's not. Right. It's not like a double title situation, so it's a winnable match for Willow.
Are there any Stardom people not on that show? I haven't looked. Like there's
no. It will not be a Stardom wrestler.
We'll get into the card in a little minute, but I
was looking like they couldn't even leave like someone off, like I don't know, who's someone like a not a shitter, but like someone who like isn't like like
Koguma.
a little probably better than that.
Koguma's in a big match on the show. She's in a big title match, but it's a tough one. I mean, when I was looking at it, when the rumors cropped up about the Stardom possibly being involved, and obviously I looked and everyone was booked. There's a match on the card. It's Shuri versus Xena of Club Venus. That is the match that felt most like you could pull that and send Shuri over. But then it's a case of like, well, what do you do with Shuri? Because I don't think she's losing if you send Shuri over.
And having Shuri be the strong champ wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, so it's a tough. That's what I was talking about before. With like that's probably why it's been difficult to do. But
there's a good chance. What if it's like Jesse Alabama?
What about like Zaya Brookside
or Jesse Alabama?
Jesse, yeah, cool. Jesse. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not thinking we're getting any Stardom involvement here on this show. Okay. I don't think we need to get into anything else. Tomorrow night at this time we'll know a lot of what's going to be on this show, or maybe a couple like an hour from now or so. So I think we're gonna cut it off there. I know you guys are as stoked for the show as I am, but like we're just thrilled, super excited to recap it for everybody at this time next week. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's move on to a little bit of Stardom talk. Stardom, as noted, has a big time pay-per-view this week that is a very storyline heavy pay-per-view coming up with the big stable versus stable cage match where the loser leaves their unit. So Jamie, break down that main event match for us.
Loser leaves unit cage match? That piques my attention.
Yes. QQ versus Oedo Tai. Break it down for us, Jamie.
Yeah, so it seems like it's going to be the main event. We've got Queen's Quest, Utami Hayashi's there, Saya Kamatani, Azumi, Hina, Lady C, and Miyu Masaki versus Oedo Tai's Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, Starlight Kid, Ruaka, and Rina. The kind of big thing going into this is the tension between Saya Kamatani and Utami. It definitely seems like it's going to be one of those two that are leaving their units. At least that's where the story kind of leads me to believe where it's going. But yeah, it's super interesting. I'm interested to see how it plays out. There's going to be, presuming it's like they're all just going to be in there at one time. It's going to be quite a packed match. By the sound of it, they're all going to bring a weapon. That's a new little storyline addition we've had. So it's going to be pretty hectic. But yeah, as opposed to similar matches that we've seen before, especially with Oedo Tai, this isn't going to be one where it's the loser must join the other unit. It's just simply they have to leave their own unit. So it opens up a lot of possibilities. And we've speculated before that there might be a new faction about to start, especially with the likes of Suzu Suzuki and Mei Seira, and then obviously Micah, who might be on the outs with DDM. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one to see how it goes. I'm interested to see where both you two think it's heading.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I definitely think that whoever it's going to be Saya or Utami as the loser. Oedo Tai, like they're the story beat that you throw in there. If you're trying to mess up a unit, have them feud with Oedo Tai, right? And that'll move people around.
I say Utami.
Ooh.
Parker, you're cooked.
This isn't good.
Yo,
you're good.
Okay, all right, that was weird. I'm sorry, everybody. It's just how it is, Chicago. I'm going to be back home next week, and I'm going to be in my apartment, and I'm going to have the nice Wi-Fi that I pay for. So, thank you. No, so yeah, definitely think Utami.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone again.
Shit.
Parker's doing his Chris impression.
Right. Murph, tell me what you think. I'm going to reconnect, Murph, and then you do it. All right. Yeah.
Oh, it's a hard one. Tom, I think Utami's probably going to lose. I actually do have a question. Who is Hanako, and what is a passion injection match?
Oh, Hanako. She's one of the new rookies they brought in. And a passion injection match. It's not like a stipulation. It's literally just a singles match against Nanae Takahashi, but she really brings it. I know you're not.
It said At first, I didn't know who Hanako is, and number two, I didn't know what the hell a passion injection match is. So okay, it's just a singles. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I know you're not like a huge Nanai Takahashi fan, but like she brings it in
She
those
fucking sucks. But I mean,
those
it's
passion injection matches are good, man.
I'm here.
He's
Okay.
back.
Anyway, if I can finish my point, Saya or Utami feels the most likely to lose this match. It feels like for months I've been ready for that future stable to come up, right?
Mhm.
It was the 8-person tag, right? Utami, Saya, Suzu, and Maika, right? One of the two Queen's Quest unit members is going to be in a unit with those two, is alongside May Sarah after this show. That's my prediction.
Mhm.
I don't know how they're going to get there. I don't know if it's going to be that they give it their all and then they lose, or if it's going to be something like we saw with like when Momo turned, for example.
Mhm.
She essentially turned on their on the unit, whereas when it was Starlight Kid, right? I think Kid she just lost, right? And then she
Mhm.
came out and she was a part of Oedo Tai the next time she came out and wrestled. Um, I tend to think that unless they're going to make this new stable like heelish, and again, it's not loser joins Oedo Tai, which is a
Mhm.
different wrinkle too. It's just loser leaves their unit. If they're going to, unless they're going to make him heelish, which that doesn't make sense to me with someone like Micah, right? Who's
Yeah.
been who retired Himeka and is obviously just like pure babyface.
Mhm.
Then it feels like to me Saya and or Utami is going to give it their all, but like some miscommunication or
Mhm.
something is going to lead them to being the last one in the cage. Or maybe they'll just get fucking sick of each other and they'll be like, I don't have a problem with QQ. I have a problem with you, and I'm going to
Mhm.
screw you so that you're the last one in. I'm going to escape and I'm going to make it. So ultimately, my prediction is this. I think it is going to be Utami who ends up leaving her unit, leaving Queen's Quest. She's the current leader. She is going to leave, and I think she is going to lead a stable alongside Micah, Suzu Suzuki, and May
Mhm.
Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah, you make a good point about like how are they going to get there in terms of like will it be
Mhm.
like a full on turn or will it just be like a they just get they lose out. There's an interesting storyline beat on one of the most recent Stardom shows. Oedo Tai and Queen's Quest were in the ring after the Queen's Quest match, I believe. Momo Watanabe hands Saya Kamatani her bat. This is kind of how they set up the everyone bring a weapon situation. Saya looks at it kind of like, she's thinking about, what am I going to do with this? She gives it back to Momo, and then as Queen's Quest are leaving the ring, Natsuko Tora like absolutely cracks Utami with a kendo stick. Queen's Quest do nothing about this. They just walk to the back. They don't even like acknowledge it. So I think there's definitely some interesting ways they could go with this. Maybe they just kind of all collectively decide they're done with Utami.
Well,
Or Saya makes the jump.
again, you could have all the members turn on one of the, and the way they would do that would be everybody turning on Utami, right? That would lead to her leaving. You could also do, frankly, I know there's 6 women in the stable, but you could disband QQ as a whole. Like you could have people that would be kind of extreme, but I don't know about you guys. I know some people probably have like an emotional attachment to Queen's Quest because they've been around forever. It was EO, right? But like they don't really occupy any sort of real like character space. They're just like some wrestlers who are like in a stable. You know what I mean? And there's 2 who are way above the rest in the card. There's one who's like kind of in the mid card in Azumi, and then the rest are jobbers.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a weird stable setup too. So it would not shock me if this was just the end, right? If there was something like that, because there's a lot of people who are sort of unaffiliated, who are sort of orbiting the roster right now. Someone like Chihiro Hashimoto could join a unit, could join the company or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. Murph, do you have any insight on this as somebody who's not that tuned in?
I hope everyone has fun. I hope everyone, just has a great match. I mean, I'm not a Stardom connoisseur, but any loser leaves unit cage match is piques my interest as a Dragon Gate fan. So I mean,
this is very Dragon Gate.
It'll be a very interesting match, and it'll probably be very good too. So
yeah,
I mean, I would be uninformed if I said anything more because I just don't know the build.
So I'd say there's 3 more notable matches on there. Is there anything final you want to say on this, Jamie?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, obviously we all kind of think it's gonna be Utami or Saya. Do you think there's any shot whatsoever of Oedo Tai member losing out here, or do you? I can't see it at all.
Like no, I don't. Unless it was like you could have like Momo lose and then she's the one who, like, it's a big swerve and she's the one who ends up leaving the like youth movement stable because she is like still one of the youngest people in the match somehow.
That would be
you could also have Starlight Kid do that, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, sorry, we're talking over each other, but Momo obviously has the Queen's Quest connection, right? She was stablemates with all of these people except Lady C and Miyu Amasaki for a long time. So there's and she was tag champs with Saya, right? Or were they? Maybe they weren't. I can't remember off the top of my head now. Yeah, Momo, she usually teamed with Azumi, right? So I guess they weren't tag champs together, but regardless, in the same stable for a long time.
Yeah, but no, I don't see it. I can't see it happen. But I definitely agree with the point that if it was to be anyone, it would be Momo. But no, I think it's going to be Utami who loses out. But yeah, moving on to the other kind of like notable things on the card. There's another steel cage match, the kind of double main event steel cage deal, and we got our Artists of Stardom Championship. First defense for DDM. I believe they call themselves Bari Bombers. I don't exactly know where that kind of stems from, but Julia, Tekla, and Mai Sakurai, the biggest heel in all of Joshi wrestling, Mai Sakurai. Then they're against Stars' Mayu Iwatani and FWC, Hazuki and Koguma. I think this could be like a ton of fun. I think like FWC in particular, and obviously Mayu, they kind of go crazy in these kind of stipulation matches. We've seen Koguma jumping off all sorts of big, and she's like kind of like fucking Stardom Jeff Hardy. She'll jump off anything large and tall. So I think she could be really fun in this match. What do you guys think? Do you think there could be a title change here, or what do you think about this match?
I do not think there will be a title change. I think they're doing they love Mai Sakurai right now, right? And obviously there's Julia with her. Stars is like their chaos, right? They can lose and they're completely fine. Mayu can lose, she's completely fine. It's also a cage match, so it's not like anybody, if it's escape the cage, nobody will get pinned. So I just think this will be a great match. Like anytime you get Julia and Mayu in there together, it's exciting. And Tekla has stepped up a lot in tags, and I'm a huge fan of FWC. So I love the match. It's gonna be great.
Do you have any thoughts on this one, Murph?
I hope that the Bari Bombers win because I think they're pretty. I like that team, and I'm not a big Hazuki and Koguma fan, so.
For some reason, you talking about DDM reminded me that I'm cited on the DDM Wikipedia page. I'm cited on a lot of Wikipedia pages. Yeah, I'm just looking it up. I'm cited on the Ass Boys Wikipedia page. Joe Hendry, Men of the Year. You guys remember Men of the Year?
All right.
Dalton Castle, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, Braun Breaker, MJF. I'm cited on. Nino Hamburguesa.
That's a great one.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Michiko Miyagi. I'm just trying to find the most obscure person. I'm cited on Bloodsport. I'm cited on list of Lucha Libre AAA worldwide personnel.
How do you find this?
I just searched my name. I'm cited on Mio Momino, on Cheek Tormenta, Kyle O'Reilly. Wow, this is so good. I'm cited on Yu Ishino, Ram Kaicho, Ryuki Takase.
How does Ram Kaicho even have a Wikipedia page?
Bro, Shota from DDT. I'm cited on his.
Gonbari Shota?
Yeah, I'm cited on Oedo Tai.
That dude just like pretends to be Eddie Guerrero. Let him get.
Yeah, that's his gimmick. He's Eddie Guerrero. I'm cited on Ishii. I'm cited on list of major World Wonder Ring Stardom events. All right. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm cited on a lot of Wikipedia. List of never open weight champions. Okay, all right, that's enough. That was boring. All right, the next, Jamie, save me. What else? There's a tag title match that I think will lead to a title change.
Yeah, we do. We have got a tag title match. The New Eras, Ami Sourei and Mirai of God's Eye, defending against Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May, who are now going by Rose Gold, I believe. That's their tag team name.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
I believe this is the first title match for Mariah May. Mariah May, by the way, who's been, I think, super impressive since coming to Stardom. I talked about it when she first kind of came in. Unless you were like super tapped in to whatever UK indies she's working to. I'm from the UK and I'm not super tapped in.
If I can interrupt you really quickly, she had the match with like Alpha Wolf last year, right? Or not Alpha Wolf. Who am I thinking of? Who did she have the match with that was like super like botchy? It was part of the item. What's her name? I'm like forgetting. Someone in the comments will tell us, but
I know. Oh God, I know who you're talking about.
But regardless of who it was, like I'm sure like the next comment will be who it was. But see, here's the thing. A lot of people were making fun of that match and thought it was bad. I thought that match was like awesome. because they were like dropping each other on their heads and just like and Mariah, she was actually like wrestling and she looked Are you
talking about the IWGP tournament?
Yeah, wasn't it Mariah May versus
Alpha? I don't think that was Mariah May.
Alpha female, wasn't it Mariah May?
No, that was some your Portuguese friend. How Sequiera. It was Ava something, and I think he's right. I don't think this was Mariah May. Because I thought the same when Mariah came in. I thought, it's her. It's not her, I don't think.
Hold on. Well, now, all right. Now, y'all, I'm going to mute myself so my typing isn't annoying.
Ava White.
Figure this out.
Ava White. Yeah. that wasn't Mariah. You had me really confused. I was
Ava White. Is he going to?
Let me figure this out. You guys talk about this tag title match.
It's Ava White. We keep saying it. It's Ava White.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll continue off about. You really threw me off then. So Mariah May, since coming in, I talked about it when she first kind of came in to the promotion with Mina and Zaya Brookside. She's, unless you were like super tapped into the UK indies, she was kind of like no one really knew too much about her. She was a pretty a blank slate for a lot of people. I think she's been super impressive in like kind of everything she's done. She's obviously her biggest match to date, first title match.
She's been really good.
Damn, I'm dumb as hell. I was just straight up wrong on that. I'm usually
Parker, it happens to the best of us.
I feel dumb now.
You really threw me off. Because first you said like Mariah May was Alpha Wolf.
Who the fuck is Ava White?
When did that happen?
Ava White? Because I thought I knew her from something.
Wait, is Ava White British?
Okay, this is weird. I just searched Ava White, and the first result is Ava White. It's the Wikipedia page titled "Murder of Ava White."
What the fuck?
A 12-year-old girl who was murdered by a 14-year-old boy in 2021, and you'll never guess where, Liverpool.
Fuck. Oh God.
Wait, is Ava White from Britain?
Yo,
I don't know anything anymore. I don't even know that I know what wrestling is at this point.
But you're meant to be the Wikipedia man. You're meant to know everything.
But am I stupid? Like where? Oh, Royal. It was on Royal Quest, right? Okay. Yeah. What was the other match?
Royal. It was an alpha female versus someone.
Yeah, versus Ava White. Who is Ava White?
It was.
Who are you?
Wait, there wasn't another match on Royal Quest. I think it was just that one.
Who? Ava White wrestle? She doesn't have a cage match.
No, well, I remember when that match happened. Like she was like, she's like an OnlyFans person who like does a bit of wrestling.
Wasn't that Mariah May?
No.
Oh my God! Yeah, she's
Mariah May was
like an OnlyFans. She's like a porn star.
I feel like I've been Mandela affected.
Wait. Look at this article by The Sun, which is a shitty organization, by the
Whoa,
way.
whoa. Wait, we're not fucking reading this. Get
We
that shit
love
out
the
of here.
Sun. This is our
No,
this is our favorite
Wait,
news.
the headline is I rake it in on OnlyFans when I'm not beating the crap out of people in the ring. Classic.
Cool, like Mandy Rose.
Fuck the Sun, by the way.
Okay. Anyway, that was bad. That was bad for me. That was bad. I'm off my game. I'm gonna read super chats to make me feel better. 499 super chat from El Chingon. Maybe I feel like that was like a slur or something. Love the earlier Peso Pluma discussion. Who are your favorite artists right now? Love hearing you guys talk about random stuff. Ooh, this is fun. I saw the K-pop group Gravity 2 nights ago. It was like 97% female and like 65% colored hair. But if you go to Gravity's Twitter page, they have a picture of them with all the audience, and you can see me back there. I'm doing this. I'm doing the K-pop heart. So that's who I saw recently. What do you guys been
I would say
recently?
Tyler Childers right now. I really like
Tyler
Tyler Childers.
Howdy, y'all. Do you like Morgan Wallen?
I do. I'd say Tyler. I really like Cole Swindell. I'm on a huge country kick right now.
Murph,
So.
even if you like Morgan Wallen, just in the future, you should say, I don't like Morgan Wallen.
Oh, I don't like Morgan Wallen. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Jamie, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know. Like my favorite artists right now. I listen to kind of a lot of stuff. Do you remember the interaction we had when you discovered that I went to a Macklemore concert?
Oh, that was great. Yeah,
that was so good.
Is that on the show or on a space?
I think it was just
in the
Twitter
group
interaction,
chat, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it
was
Twitter.
Just like, yeah.
When I was in the 3rd grade, I thought that I was good.
Yo, crowd were going crazy for that.
I'm
one,
like,
I have to say. What was the?
What a bar.
That
we also have.
Yeah. Anyway, my favorite artist probably right now is I don't know. I'm going to a Joji concert in August.
Oh, Joji's good.
Also, the Central C and Dave album was really good. That was
okay. I like the video to the Glimpse of Us song.
Mm-hmm.
It's really like twisted. Yeah, no, that's a good question, El Chingon. I've been listening to a lot of the 1975 recently because I might go see them at Lollapalooza.
Parker supports Matty Healy.
I do support Matty Healy. I agree with everything he's ever said. Okay, and you can write that down. We also have a $1.99 super chat from Ron DeSantis. Thank you for your donation, Murph. USA. Murph,
Ron,
what do you have to say?
I did not donate to you. You may be my governor, considering the state I'm living in now.
He's not. It's a federal crime to law about campaign finance donations. So
no, I didn't donate. You can look up my open secrets. You can look up my name in donations. There are only D donations to D's there. Not many are. None. I've never donated to a Republican, especially not Ron DeSantis, who is not a good guy, even though he's my governor.
I don't know. That seems false to me. I want to answer this. Luna is my favorite K-pop group. I love Luna. Okay,
which
let's talk quickly.
I'm feeling lonely. Oh,
that 50-50 Cupid. Yeah, they're good. They're cute. I like CO is my favorite member of that group. CO. All right. Anyway, well, they got other songs too, but that one was very popular. Okay, let's move on. We are like running out of time here. Let's talk about this tag match. Then we'll briefly, I think through Beast of the Week, we'll be able to talk about some All Japan and Noah stuff. And then we'll close it out today. But let's talk about this tag match. So as you said, well, now I've already forgotten who's in the match. It's like
it's Mariah and Ami Sourei versus Mina and Mariah May.
Right. Yes, and that's how we got on talking about Mariah May, which I don't want to remember anymore. Anyway, I think there's going to be a title change here. I think we're going to get new tag champs. It'll free up Mariah to do whatever the hell she's going to do next with this shot. It's going to. I just think it makes sense with how popular Mariah has gotten, and of course, you want to keep Mina's momentum after having it stifled a few weeks ago against Tam. So it makes perfect sense to me to do a title change here.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Murph, do you think we're getting a title change? I know you're not super locked into the goings on, but
why not? Let's have a title change. Why not?
yeah.
Okay, why the hell not?
Sure. Yeah. Just another thing was before we move on from Mariah May. I don't know if you guys saw. We have the full 5-star lineup now. We had the qualifying Rumble So we have
I
our
didn't
final
know that.
two. We have our final two entrants. Mariah May made it, as I thought she would, and Hanan made it, which I'm happy with.
Okay.
So some
No
bigger missions.
Saida. No
Some bigger
Koguma.
missions. No Koguma, no Tekla, no Mai
Mai
Sakurai, no
Sakurai?
Saida. No Saki Kashima, but she said she didn't want to do it.
So she's like, no, I'm high speed champ. I've reached the
I respect it. But yeah, no, I think out of the kind of field we had in that qualifying rumble, those would have been my two picks. I think they both deserve it. So, yeah.
There were lots of good picks you could have thrown in there. I mean, obviously, there's like 7 people in that rumble who.
Oh no,
he's gone again.
Oh.
Pulled a Chris.
I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna kill myself. Am I audible?
Yes.
You're back.
Okay.
You're back.
Let's get on to I gotta click over to it now.
Rob Bros comments really funny.
Let me see. I forgot. Yeah, what's her name? Like Mariah Moss or something like that?
Mariah Mills.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. Anyway, y'all, it's that time of the week. It is for the beast of the week on the Dumb Guy Live show here. Yeah. This is what we do every week. We posted our beasts of the week last week. I wanted to quickly talk about Seth Rollins last week, who was my beast of the week. I don't think anybody else expected that. I went to Friday Night SmackDown, not the past Friday, but the previous one. And in the dark match main event, it was Seth Rollins defending the heavyweight title against Damian Priest. Let me tell you, they did Fujita versus Go Shiozaki stare down. They did not lock up until seriously probably 14 minutes into the match, because it's Seth Rollins is from Iowa, which is where I'm from, and they just sang his song. They sang his song. They would get up, they'd like be about to lock up, and then they'd back up, and Seth would do the thing, and he'd direct everybody with the song, and it was just incredible. It's the match of the year. It's better than Omega Ospreay. It made me very happy. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that on the show. For this week, Jamie, do you have one ready to go? If not, I have mine.
Wait, Jamie, what was your beast of the week last week?
My beast of the week last week was Rising Hayato of All Japan.
My beast of the week last week was Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Maybe my best pick ever, I think.
It was a popular one on the old
Hamilton, Ontario, Canada doesn't believe in fascism, so that's why I love it so much.
Fascism.
Yeah, I went for Hayato last week just because I think he stood out in that junior 6-man. I think he's one of the guys in there who's most people probably weren't super familiar with. I think he had a good performance. But yeah, my beast of the week for this week, as Parker mentioned earlier, we didn't get a chance to properly get into All Japan. We were derailed a bit with the whole Mariah May debacle and Parker's Wi-Fi. But anyway, my beast of the week, and in what I believe is now my favorite tag team match of the whole year, from Strong BJ versus Violent Giants. My beast of the week is Yuji Okabayashi of Big Japan.
That's exactly who I was going to say. Not only that match, but it was exactly Yuji. Good.
What a match!
That is fine by me.
What a fucking match!
Little
shall we just collectively make
that our collective?
Let's make that the collective.
Okay,
one. I think we can all. Jamie, we'll pause. We'll be, as we're talking about this, we'll be thinking of who else we might put in there. But let's just say all 4 guys. All right, because they've had classics before. The Violent Giants and Strong BJ are
as a huge Violent Giants fan. I just had the biggest grin on my face watching that match. I voted for Violent Giants about like 5 years straight in the Wrestling Observer.
I did too.
I was always the guy. Violent Giants would come in like 6th or 7th every year.
Yep.
It was because of guys like me. So I fucking love the Violent Giants.
I mean, just a great classic tag match. They've had battles before. This was as good as any of them. The reason I was going to go with Yuji Okabayashi specifically is he's announced that he's going to be stepping away from wrestling, or at least taking a step back. He's always said that when he turned 40, he was going to do that, and he did just in fact turn 40. So we may be looking at the tail end of Yuji Okabayashi's career. Of course, anything can happen in wrestling. But
what's his hand sign? He has a hand sign. What is it?
He does like ah! But he puts his arms up like, and then but then his face is all like, ah! It's very pained. It's very good. So I adored this match. Sekimoto is like 25% washed, but he was still great in it. And I am maybe the biggest Suama fan this side of the Pacific Ocean. I just
And I'm the
adore
biggest
that
Shuji
guy.
Ishikawa. I'm a huge Shuji
Yeah,
Ishikawa
yeah,
fan.
you
So
love Big Shuge. So
when
Strong PJ and
Okabayashi
Violent
has his
Giants
last
are
match, we're gonna have to do a whole episode because there have been so many great matches from Okabayashi over the years. I mean, from the Dio run he had a couple years
Champion
ago.
Carnival in 2019 was great.
So the guy's a monster.
Okay, Jamie, have you thought of another Beast of the Week in the meantime?
Oh, we've taken the whole like that match off the board. I just want to say on that match quickly before we move on. That people peek behind the curtain on the match ratings. I gave that match 5 stars. I fucking love this match. I give the whole 5. It's my tag team match of the year. And I believe like I was my top 5 favorite tag team matches of the year. I think 3 are from All Japan. I think they've had some really stellar tag team matches. Another one of them happened on this show. So they've been killing it.
I love All Japan so much. I mean, they've just had a great year. I mean, it's weird because the stories aren't that like locked in because they have a limited roster and they're trying to find the unique matchups within there, but the matches themselves, they just deliver. I mean, time in and time out, and the crowds, they have this like cult fandom right now where the crowds are just super hot for everything they do. I just adore All Japan. They're great. They're great. Jamie, you have somebody.
Yeah, okay. I've decided my backup Beast of the Week is going to be the guy who was our collective Beast of the Week last week. I'm going to go for Kento Miyahara. He was in 2 tremendous tag team matches this week. He won the All Japan World Tag Team Championship alongside Yuma Aoyagi against Keno and Manabu Soya of Congo. And then 2 days later, they had their first title defense against Atsuki Aoyagi and Ryzen Hayato, who I just spoke about before. Both matches were like phenomenal, but both candidates for my tag team match of the year. I slightly preferred the one featuring the All Japan Juniors, just because I think it was an interesting clash of styles. And I'm super high on Ryzen Hayato, as I mentioned before. I think he had another breakout performance in this.
Kento,
but yeah, just Kento Miyahara being like, and then again he had the New Japan, the New Japan match.
Kento had the beast moment of the week because Kento walked into that New Japan building and he still did the Kento Miyahara, and everyone in the building knew it. That was the coolest part. He's from All Japan.
He's incredible. Like he is there is just nobody like him. I think if you're not that familiar with him, you see the praise, right? You see the rave reactions that people have to him, and you're like, how good can he be? You know what I mean?
The word drives me crazy, but he has aura. Like he's
who
has aura. Like
it's not like he doesn't do all that much in his matches. But I mean, Dave always compared him to Tanahashi. He right now this is gonna sound crazy. I think he's better than Tanahashi ever was.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
Kento's unbelievable. He walks into any building and he's the man.
Right now, as it stands, I think he's my wrestler of the year. You're about halfway through
Kenny
the year.
For me.
It is close. I've been loving Kenny, but Kento, man, this year, man, he's doing something special.
You can't be wrong with him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's gone. Oh no.
Oh
should we wait it out, or Murph? Do you want to take it with your Beast of the Week, or what should we do?
I don't know what to say.
We've lost our host. It's all.
I had a big Beast of the Week reveal this week, so we're gonna give it about 2 seconds. And if Parker's Kento, I just let me touch on Kento real quick. Kento is the man. There's no one like Kento.
Yeah, he's back. Parker, you're back.
Okay, Parker.
Okay, yeah. So I've been thinking about who I want to do for mine. I'm going to keep it in this sort of all Japan, New Japan little universe that we've had over the last couple weeks. I'm going to go with somebody who has spent the vast majority of his career in New Japan and is a living legend. And currently, despite being a living legend and a Hall of Famer, is putting on, in my opinion, some of the best work of his career, and that's Yuji Nagata. He just had his anniversary, his produce show this past weekend. I'm stoked to watch it, but I know he was great in it. He managed to wrestle in the main event of Ota Ward against somebody who's had like 30 career matches and make it a great match in Yuma Anzai. Yuji Nagata is Triple Crown champion in 2023, and he continues to be just a great wrestler after all of 30 years into his career. And I don't know what's more beast than that, keeping up that longevity. So I'm going to go with Yuji Nagata this week.
Parker, pick the guy who's older than the rest of the people, but he's still on another level. I'm going to go do the same thing. This guy.
Yeah, I got you.
What are you doing?
Are you doing? Maybe I was wrong. Sorry, go ahead.
This guy came in second, and this guy is going to have his 33rd career win very soon. My beast of the week, John called it, is Aston Martin Aramco Cognizant driver Fernando Alonso. My beast of the week is Fernando Alonso for coming in second in the Canadian GP, absolutely killing his fucking teammate Lance Stroll and being an absolute G. And Fernando Alonso will get his 33rd win soon. So my beast of the week, it's El Plan, Fernando Alonso.
Thank you, Murph. Thank you for
he's
that.
Too far gone.
Yeah, he's never going to pick a wrestler as his beast of the week again. It's just not happening.
This is why the collective one is very necessary.
This is why the collective one is good. So, at this time next week, we will be reviewing, obviously, the two big shows we previewed. There's also a fun Keno is having his 15th anniversary show this upcoming weekend. And then they're doing a big 10-man tag with Congo against all the,
Keno?
Noah.
I will say this real quick. Keno has been an underrated wrestler of the year for me.
He's been a great wrestler. He's been
a Dragon Gate regular. And it's been, if you haven't watched Keno and Kondo versus Kanda and Susumu Mochizuki, it was like the best match of Kanda and Art. Like it was unbelievable. So please watch that match because Keno and Dragon Gate has been unbelievable, and he will also be on the Kobe World, which we will preview next week.
Exactly, that was what I was going to close it out with. Next week we will be previewing the biggest Dragon Gate show of the year, one of the biggest shows in Japanese wrestling every year, Kobe World Pro Wrestling
with one of the biggest main events in the history of the company.
Maruka Kikuta, Yukio Shioka. We'll see what happens. We'll get into the preview.
I meant the cage match.
That's the main. The cage match is the main event.
The cage match is going on last.
Ooh, that's exciting.
And they added DK to the match. It's a 5-way now. DK's in it.
Oh, DK, don't lose the mask. Okay. All right. We are. He's not losing that mask. Okay. That's gonna do it for us this week. We got a big show next week, which is just exciting. We love this stuff. Hey, I have to say, I had some Wi-Fi issues on this show, but for the first half of the show, we had some of the best viewership we've ever had, even more so than we had 2 weeks ago when I made that comment 2 weeks ago. So if you are tuning into these shows, thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. We are. It blows my mind that we are one of the if not the most popular Pearl podcast ever already. I want to keep going. I love that we're a niche of a niche, and I want to keep it up. So thank you all so much.
And we talk about everything. We love how you guys love talking about everything, from New Japan, the Stardom, the Dragon Gate, to All Japan. I mean, we just talk about everything here, and thank you guys for watching, because this was a project we started on Twitter Spaces in front of 10 people. And now, we have a place and we added Jamie along the way. But just thank you for supporting the Dumb Guys. We really appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Big show next week. Tune in. We will see you all next time.